All right, let's test this out. I'm not sure how the sound is going to be, but we'll give it a whirl. Double check on the sound actually. Let's see. Testing, I think. Yep, I am. All right, let's test this out. I'm not sure how the sound is going to be, but we'll give it a whirl. God, I hate that I can hear myself in my ears. On the sound actually. So now you should still be able to hear me fine, right? Sounds good? Okay. All right, guys. This is what I'm thinking for tonight. I got a bunch of ideas. Gary Shees gave me one, Queen of Hearts, and that got me thinking of this idea. And it's something I've had, for years. I have a file of images, and this is, I don't know who the photograph was of. Let me just shut off everything and kind of show you where it started. It was just a cool image of like a Day of the Dead girl. I just liked it. I thought it was cool. And I thought it would make a cool like pose reference for what I wanted to do. Because I don't want to copy the image, but I want to use it for influence. Let me know if the sound is still good. I think it should be good. So what I did is I did a quick... Which one's a good one? I did a quick rough overlay. So I just basically used her position and kind of the hair placement for some of the position in the hand. I just liked it. I didn't want to use her face, I didn't want to use the photo other than for positioning. So then what I did is I put just like a Queen of Hearts and one of my roses from my rose collection thing. This is from the Skull and Roses that I have. And then where's the other? And I do this in multiple layers. If you look the way I break it down, I do it in sections. So I can turn things on and off if I don't like it. And if I don't like it, I can just erase it. Because if you do work digitally, you have the power of undo, right? But that only goes so far. So you get too far in the drawing and realize you don't like it, you can't undo your way out of it. So I usually break things down to 3 or 4 layers. Like that's, so you have the main. I even do like 2 of them. So like this one I have 2. So the original one I kind of went with the hair, and I didn't want that high bob hair. So I basically saved that one and hid it and made a new layer and did that and then started drawing. I don't want to do the body, so this is going to be fire. And what I'm thinking of for this panel is I got a cool metallic pink panel. So I think I'm doing this all in pink and warm tones and do like a pink fire, and I'll start it tonight and finish it next week as a Valentine's Day kind of theme painting is the plan. Let's see. And then what I'm going to do, where's the crown? Oh, there it is. And then, I want to give it that kind of queen feel. And go from there. And for this, program-wise, for ones using, everyone wondering, I'm using Sketchbook Pro. It's a real simple program. I have it set really low res. Here's a good tip. I learned this from Gearbox a long time ago. He does a lot of big digital paintings, and digital paintings take up a lot of memory. If you have a slower computer, what you can do is you start your rough work at a low resolution, therefore it doesn't take up too much power in your computer and it works fast, especially if you have a slower machine. And then you save that layer, save that, and then when you get to the next level, you want to start going more detail, up the image quality from like 150 DPI to a 300. Yes, there's going to be a skull in the rose. And then as you go, you can get more detail, but less of the file had to be worked in that high res. Only the end result. So you can start off with a low res. So if you notice, this is pretty low res. When you zoom in, which I don't care. That's fine. You zoom in, it's blurry, but it's just a sketch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this new, because I want to lock this down. Save as Queen of Hearts Final. And this is going to go on my desktop for now. Okay. So now what I can do, because I know this is all kind of rough, and I can shut off layers and turn off layers. What I'm going to do that's the sketch of the rose. That's the sketch of the girl. We're going to lose her because I don't want to, and when I use an image like this, just I found online, if I knew the photographer, knew the model, I'd be happy to photo cred them for the reference. Once I get past this point, I don't want to look at it anymore. So I just delete it. Gone. I get rid of it. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to. No, that's not delete. There we go. Delete. I get rid of it. It's gone. It's out of my head. I don't want it to influence my design anymore. It was just simply a starting point for position, for speed. And then what I'm going to do is, you don't need to do this, but I'm going to make it just simpler. I'm going to merge all these layers down into one layer. I don't need you. This just, because remember, I saved the other one, so I have all the multi-layer on an old file. This is just a workflow thing I do for a little house cleaning. So you work with a simpler file. I don't need this. I don't need this. They're gone. Oops, unlock. Okay, so is there a skull? Yes, I kept on the same thing. Sorry. I'm glad you guys are popping in. I was gonna make this. I was gonna make it for members only, and I think members are the only ones here. Except Joe Simmons. Thanks, Joe, for popping in. But I'm using OBS to stream instead of my normal system, so I can't lock it down to members only. So my plan, I'm going to start doing more videos like this for channel members, Down and Dirty Tricksers only. That's coming very soon. So let's talk about what I'm using. I am on, and I can't really show it in any way. Oh, I can actually. I'll just use my webcam down here. So this is a Huion tablet. I used to use Wacom, but I switched to Huion a few years ago when my Wacom crapped out, and they were $3,000, and this one was $1,000. And it works 95% as good, so we're gonna go with it. Okay, so it's a digital pen. You'll see me moving my palettes and what I use here, and this is layers. I'll give you a quick overview of this software. All right, and to do that, you don't need to see my face. What I missed? Just kind of me starting out and talking about how I'm breaking this image down. I've only been going for, 10 minutes right now, 8 minutes, so you haven't missed much. But I am going to hide me because I don't need to have me up in the corner, plus that way you see everything. So this is a real simple program. It's available for Mac and PC. On most of my drawings, I do a lot through, most of my drawings I do on my iPad. But sometimes when I don't have my iPad handy and I'm in the studio, I use this. It's a much bigger screen. I wish they made Procreate for a Mac directly, but they don't. So a lot of you guys are PC guys, and Procreate doesn't work on PC. So Sketchbook Pro is amazing. It's a great software. It's very inexpensive, and it's pretty powerful. It works really good. So what you have here, I'll just show you a simple way. This is a layers. These are your layers. If you don't know what layers are on a computer, layers, you basically treat them like putting tracing paper over something. So you have one layer, then you put a piece of clear transfer or trace paper on top of that, and you draw on that layer, and you want to preserve that, you put another layer on top, and then you can merge layers and you can change the arrangement if they're transparent. So you can work with these layers. They're very intuitive. It's very simple. We have our color palette. We don't need that. These are a bunch of tools. Like this one here is the magnifier, where you can hit spacebar, and I can zoom in and out, do things like that. You can use your mouse, or you can drag it around. Okay, really simple stuff. Yeah, a lot of people always ask me about my process. So this, most guys don't get to see it because I don't get to do it much. So tonight's live feed might be a little short. Depends where I get on this. So what you have here is you have on this one, you have your brush palette. So you got pencil, airbrush, marker, pens, erasers, blenders. That's what all this stuff is here. This is your brush size, your tip size. This is a color picker. That's all they got there. And there's a bunch of tools here. Like this is for cropping stuff out, moving it, stuff like that. It's a nice little piece of software. But the basic on how I use it, I just use it as a sketchbook with layers. Okay. So I'll show you what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer. This is going to be my work layer. This is the layer of the source image. I'm going to lock it so I don't mess with it. Oh, actually I got to unlock it first, which with this program you just click and drag to lock or duplicate, add new layers, but that's all in here. Merge layers down, rename layer. That's all the basics. What I like to do is I like to lower the opacity so it doesn't read too much into what I'm doing. And then I lock the layer. Now I can't click on it, I can't edit it, I can't mess with it. I work on the next layer here. And I'm going to show you a double trick, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start with the rows here. And over here, this is from my Skull and Rose collection, my vector one. So I used this one, but I changed it up. It went from, let me copy it, select all, copy, recent Skull Rose 3, nope, Skull Rose 3, AI. No, I messed up the save. I did. Oops. Cancel. Undo what I was doing. So this was the original one. Okay. And so this was from my vector collection that's available. I just deleted stuff. I clipped some stuff because I just want to use this as a source image. But I'm probably not going to vectorize this image and do it as a vector. At least I don't think so. So I'm just going to redraw it. So what I did is after I did that, close that, I saved it as a PNG, which if you don't know what a PNG is, PNG means the white background of the paper is invisible, so only your artwork comes in. So I'm going to add an image, which is adding a new layer, which is the rose PNG. And it's really big, but you can see now it's right there. It won't look that pixely once I put it because that's just preview. Enter it, and there it is. And I'm just using this so I don't have to redraw it because that's what I'm going to use. So this is cool because from here, oh, before I do that, hold on. I forgot to do something. Undo. Undo. Okay. Remember I talked about image size. Image size, right now, I am only working on 100 resolution, 500 pixels, which is only a 5 by 7 inch. I'm going to size this to what it's going to be, which is going to be 12 by 18. And I'm going to push it up to 300 resolution, which is going to be a big file. Keep proportions. Now it's going to be, when I zoom in, it's going to be much cleaner. And when I paste this rose, you're going to see now it's cleaner. Okay? But I'm not going to paste it. I have to import it. Hey, Mike. Good to see you, sir. Just getting up ready for tonight. To add image. Rose PNG, so it doesn't have a background. Okay, now you see, now it's clean. And now what I can do is I can rotate this into position, and this is going to save me a lot of time. That's what's nice about all these vector collections I offer up. You don't just have to use them for vector. You can use them for illustration and stuff too. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do there. It just means I just don't have to draw it again. And then I can just treat it like anything else. I can use the eraser here. I'm going to size that eraser up. And actually, I'm going to move this again. Down, down. Yeah, make it a little smaller. Rotate it and yeah, like that. Okay, now it's in position where I want it. So I'm going to leave that. That way it's editable. I can mess with it if I want to, but I can preserve it. So I'm going to lock that down too. Nice and easy. Now, see, I can't mess with that. I get the big X. Okay, pen. New working layer. See, now I can work. And I can change the size by I took this and I just dragged it to the left, and now I can make it bigger if I want. If I want to do cartoon work. I keep it fairly small. I like the pen because it's a little tidbit. If you want to like vectorize something like from a clean image, high resolution with this pen, you get really crisp lines. Whereas pencils, when you zoom in, you are a little blurry. Whereas a pen, when you zoom in, is much cleaner. Okay, they're a little crisper. It's still pixel based. It's not a vector, so you're still gonna get lines. It's just how soft it is. So I usually use a pen. I check the size. And you see me going like thin to thick. That's based on pressure. So the way I set this, if I set it here, you see how big that circle is. That's the full size. If I full pressure. If I do light pressure, it's small, heavy, on up, which is great because if you're doing like script, you can do airbrush script almost like that. I'm just going to drop the size, so my max size is like here. That's where I like to be. All right, so now, sorry about that. Again, this is Sketchbook Pro for anyone who is interested to know. Now let's draw. Like, I'm still kind of, I'm not going to make this the painting, so I'm still going to be a little sketchy with it. But it's just going to be cleaner than the original. You know, see, now that's something to work from. I think I can actually go a little bigger on this. And if I do decide to vector it, what's going on, Bravo? If I do decide to vector, it's cleaner. But I never, like for images like this, and I know everyone wants it, everyone's like, oh, just hit the auto trace feature. The auto trace feature just honestly is more headaches than it's worth half the time. So I set it up so I can go in and do a vector redraw myself, like manually. Okay. So see, now I got that. I think it looks cool. I don't know if I like these long leaves. We'll decide at the end. Let's get on the face. Oh, and I know here, this area, this is going to be like fire. So I could just represent that. We're going to airbrush that. I'll take that out for now, but a cool trick for you guys and stuff like this, if you want to do fire, you can actually, they have some good brushes for it. Not brushes, but, well, there are some brushes that kind of do it. Procreate has better ones, but this glow brush is really cool because it goes to white, and you can change, like, what it does, like how it does it. But this works better on a black surface. There may be a way to tweak it. Oh yeah, so flow, heavy pressure. There's all sorts of stuff. Oh yeah, thick to thin. So you can mess with these brushes quite a bit. Heavier flow, flow with light, spacing, roundness. There's all this stuff you can mess with. Nib, edge, soft. Okay, so this is stuff you can do. Reset the brush. So what you can do with a lot of these is you can do multiple colors like this. And then I like using this smear tool here. This is off topic, but you can set the amount of smear and how big it is. And you can literally like start to drag stuff around. It's really cool for roughing out concepts. I'm just spinning around and moving stuff around. It's a really cool, quick technique. Yeah, I sell most of my designs. This one I'm not sure about. I might make it into a vector. We'll see. But this video I just wanted to do it how I make just basically start of an illustration. All right, so let's go back to my pen. Let's go back to my color, which is more of a black. All right, so let's refine. Get a little bigger. I want to keep this nose a little skinnier than I had it, so I'm bringing it in more here. Always come up from the middle. And that septum area. That one two's a little big, undo. I'm still trying to keep it feminine, but I don't want it like, I want some skin, but I don't want a full skull, and I don't want to do like a Day of the Dead sugar skull, really. I want it a little bit of both. So just kind of roughing it. Again, this is, not a finished one, but it's enough. I could go from the painted, I could paint from the rough. But a lot of times, especially if I decide to make this into a vector, I like to refine it a little more. All right, let's get that eye. I'm going to zoom in. One cool thing you can do with this, you can turn on, what's this called here? Oh, it basically smooths out the line. So see this little dial up here from 1 to like 200? See the length of the line? It doesn't start drawing until you max out the line. So when you're doing curves, it drags way behind the brush. Great for doing like flames or long swirl graphics, because it locks in your motion by whatever you want. Or you got this one here, which basically autocorrects. So if you do a circle and you set the amount, it's like, see, this is only at like a 2. Okay, so do an oval, it corrects it, but it doesn't go crazy. If I go like all the way, I can be an idiot and it smooths it out a lot more. So if you're doing like eyes and you want to round, it'll correct. Boop. If you need it. And these, you know what? I don't like the way this is tailing off. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Oh, I think my tablet, I haven't set my tablet settings in a while. Digital pen, pressure setting. Sorry, this is a little... Okay, I'm just messing with the setting. Just see. There we go. Now it's a little better. I'm just doing some sketch. Like I said, this is really simple. Let's see how that looks from a distance. And maybe by tonight's feed, I'll clean this up even more. Let's get an actual picture of an eye and see. Come on, make that bigger. Oh, that's why the size. Okay. The size. I messed with the size, and now it's messing with me. Let me get myself off screen because it's annoying. So if you guys got any questions, feel free. I don't like that. It's too big. Crack the head. What's going on? Poco Collie Customs. Welcome. For those not familiar with the channel, just setting up for tonight's live stream. This is painting I'm going to start. So I'm just doing a cleaner pass from my rough pass. And we're going to see if this is going to work or not, because it might not. We'll see. I think that'll be enough to work off of. You know, you could go in with a pencil, and we could do like pencil shading, or you could do airbrush shading. But I try not to get too much into that right off the bat. I just like to keep it kind of simple and go from there. Yeah, so on my PC that has a Huion display screen, usually I use an iPad with like Procreate on it, but this I'm using Sketchbook Pro on my tablet. I mean, on my PC, which has a Huion screen on it. Oops. So if I want to keep those rounder, I could just take those off and just clean them up a little bit. I like the way Procreate handles this better, because if you stall, then it makes a perfect circle out of it. It's much better. It's much easier. Yeah, typically I use Procreate, but I didn't have that set up for the live stream right now, and I got a lot of viewers that don't have Mac or Apple products, so I figured I'll do it on Sketchbook Pro, because Sketchbook Pro has its own benefits versus Procreate as well. Usually I like Procreate, but this I use a lot as well. Sketchbook Pro is great. So if you're a PC user and want a powerful, I think they make Sketchbook Pro for other, like, Samsung tablets and other non-Mac tablets. So that's going to be the hair. Here's our neckline coming down here like this. Her chest, and then the hair is just going to come down like here. Basically, I don't want to get into doing like a lot of the chest and the body and all that stuff. So I got hair and fire that are going to mask a lot of that. Like I said, yeah, this will be the setup for tonight's stream, and we'll keep it clean. If I end up liking it, I might not like it, and then I might just throw it out and do something different tonight. But we'll see. So that's going to come through here. I'm going to erase this out so it goes through the hair. Hair will come down like this, and that'll kind of be the part. Oops. Inevitably someone will see the finished painting and, oh, you used AI for that. It's like, no. I did start from a photo reference of a girl with a sugar skull face, and then created my own from there. Alright, so that'll be good. So this will be the skull, the rose. Okay. And then I got to figure out, I'll probably plot, I'll do like a cool Q and a heart, because it's going to be a pink panel, and then we'll fire from there. But I think realistically, I'm going to cut it off like here, like this. There's a 12 by 18. Actually, so that's going to go. It's probably going to be a little bit more out this way here. That'll be like the panel. Which will frame in nicely, and then with the fire, we'll just frame the fire up here like here. And that'll go all the way around like that. So I think that'll be basically what I'm going to do. And then we'll have the Q here. I was going to do the Q upside down, but I'm not going to. And then we'll do the heart here, like that. Let's see, I kept that fire in different levels so it doesn't mess with the drawing. Now let's go here. The hand I got to really mess with and see. Like I want it bony, but not fully skeletal. Then we have the thumb up, the index finger here. Around it. Here's the thumb pinching. Oops. And then the rose is going to come with another thorn right here. Kind of blocks, and then this digit is like behind the hand, like here. And it'll mostly be interrupted by the fire and stuff. No, I'm using. I'll just pop down here like this. Let's get the camera on. I showed this earlier. Has anyone? Zoom out. So yeah, so that's roughly the idea for tonight's feed that I cleaned up from the original. Oh, so what I'm using is, this is a full tablet screen. This is a Huion tablet, like a Wacom, but a third the money and works 90% as good. So I'm doing all the drawing direct on here, just like the iPad with Procreate. You know, I could do the iPad too, but the iPad, getting it to stream and hook through, is a different setup. So the premise is all the same though. So yeah, so this will be hair, and it's going to be all done. It's all going to be done in pinks. You guys want to see a cool trick? A lot of people have this. So I draw usually in color, and then I want to a lot of times I'll draw in a color day. But say you drew in black, and you wanted to change the color. Sorry for the camera movement, guys. If I wanted to change the color, here's a little trick. I'm gonna I'll do it on the original layer. So let me shut these down. And I'm going to unlock this layer. This was the original sketch. Let's bring that up. I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to bring that up. So that was the original looser sketch. If you're doing an image like that and you want to change the color of the line work, a lot of people don't know what this is here. This little lock, this alpha lock, it locks the alpha channel, which is basically anything but white. Do the black ink. So watch. Change to a color. You can use a big brush like this and make it huge. And you can just change that color. That's how alpha lock works, in case no one's ever used it. That's what it does. But yeah, so if I turn them both on with the shading, you'll see that's kind of what we're starting to look like. And then, yeah, I think aside from, what I'm probably going to vector is, I don't think I'll vector the whole thing, but it's one of those things. If I vector it, I don't vector it for me because I would usually I could just paint it without going from the vector. But if I make it so it's easier for you to follow later, then I can vector it. Let's see if I can make this big. Kind of get a feel of what I'm doing tonight. So I got a pink panel, so this is going to be all done in whites and pinks and magentas and stuff like that, which will make it really cool. So then we'll get in, I'm just making new sub layers. And if I use a darker pencil, like we'll start shading under here. Let's make this hard with more opacity. And we'll shade. Start doing some shading. Well, if you just trace, you can work from drawings and trace. Like I used a photo of a girl sniffing a rose, and I traced out her position, and then turned her into this more of a realistic skull instead of like a sugar skull, and then redefined a drawing and created the drawing from there. So I used a photo reference as my guideline to just start. And then start working the image from there. She should have like purple eyes, I think. And then it'll have a bright, something like that. I'm going to go back to the pink. The shade in here. And this is like a lot of ways I do my renders before I do like an actual painting for a client. I keep it loose. I do all the work. I'd rather do all like the final refinements and details on the actual painting instead of spending too much time here. If I was doing a digital painting and getting paid like to do a more accurate digital rendering, then maybe, yeah. I'd spend more time, make it more refined. You know what I mean? I just keep it kind of loose here. Let's do another layer up here. We'll start punching some whites. And we'll have some brights here. Maybe her eyes are a little whiter. White gleam. The eyes will definitely get the teeth. highlight ridge, highlight ridge. So keep it loose, you know, that's all this is for. And then we'll have like the fire gleaming around her. The fire will frame her off really well. And like I said, this is going to be a pink metal panel, so. And we'll start the painting tonight. We'll finish it next Thursday, and it'll be a good like Valentine's Day kind of special. You guys got any questions? I'm going to start wrapping up this feed so I can start setting for tonight's live stream at 8 o'clock tonight. I got to do the thumbnail, and I got to do all that stuff. Set the cameras, and then we'll go on at 8 tonight. So if you wondered, this is what I spend usually the majority of the day of Thursday getting ready for these feeds. And then, like I was showing earlier, if you want to do fire, this is a cool glow brush. I want to go here. If you put too much pressure, it goes right to white, which kind of stinks. I haven't figured out how to mess with it more, but you can kind of get there. You can take these smudge tools and you can smudge like different styles. Just undoing that. Colorless, what's that? Yeah, it's a blender. I use this one here. This one kind of spirals more. Smear, amount of smear. Belga, where are you out of? So basically it's going to be roughly something like that. I hate that fire, so I'm just going to delete it. Oh, you're in the UK, yep. I'm glad I did a day. I've been trying to think of more during the day. And this is, like, I'm going to be doing demos like this because I'm coming over to Germany in May for the International Airbrush Days, and I'll be doing a workshop there at the International Airbrush Days. And we're going to do some demo as well, and I'm going to show this part of it too, a little bit more in depth and in person. So I'll be over for that in end of April and the start of May. No, very cool. I didn't know that's what you did in Astro. Yeah, so what do you think? I think that would be a worthwhile project. Or when I said this here. Whoa, wrong button. Come on, there we go. Pink. So basically that. Hey, Kelly. So yeah, this is basically going to be the start of tonight's feed. Yeah, I'm just going to decide whether I'm going to vector it or not. Yeah, Bobby, we can schedule weekend classes or something if you want. I do offer that. We just have to schedule it in advance, and I can give you a couple different price options of what that looks like. I usually tell people for digital, do a 2 day. For airbrushing, you get the most same thing. You can do it 1 day, but it does get a little rushed. So you just got to be really figure out what you really want to get out of it. But yeah, so I think this is going to be tonight's feed, and I'm just wondering if we're going to refine it more and vector it or not. What do you guys think? Is this a project to vector? It might be. In which case, I got to get off my butt and do it quick so it's ready for tonight. Let me know what you think. Put in the comments, message me on social whether you think I should vector this and make it available. We'll go from there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And keep this channel growing and going. See you guys tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll go from there. Here's the thing. If I vector this, I need people to download it, because vectoring takes hours. And if I vector things and no one downloads them, then I just feel like I wasted my time. So, if you're going to want it vectored, consider buying the download and make it worth me doing. I'd appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon, and we'll go from there.